Okay, good morning or good afternoon whenever you're choosing to watch this. This is grammar lesson number 15 for chapter 13, doing something tentatively. Okay, now let's take a look at two example sentences. We have このとんかつは美味しそうだし、高そうだし、食べます。versus このとんかつは美味しそうだし、高そうだし、食べてみます。Okay, so the obvious difference would be right here where it says mimasu and just ending tabemasu. The first one would obviously translate to このとんかつは this tonkatsu or tonkatsu 美味しそうだし美味しそう would mean what? Think about it for a second. So means looks like. Remember we did this one as one of our grammar lessons as well. 美味しそうだし高そうだし食べます. When using she in this manner, remember this is when you're listing reasons. This was the previous grammar lesson as well, so you should know what that means. So the first sentence translates to I will eat this pork cutlet because it looks delicious and expensive. Okay, so then what is the helping verb miru do to the sentence? Okay, that is the question or the topic of our grammar lesson today. Now, when you create a sentence using mimasu, this actually translates to I will try. Okay, so I will try eating this pork, this tonkatsu, because it looks delicious and expensive. So the te form ending with the helping verb miru is used to express the idea of doing something tentatively or trying something for the first time. Tentatively means just temporarily, like you're trying it out for the first time. Okay, so that's what it does. That's all it is. Okay, now when you are conjugating helping verbs, we've had a previous, we have a lot of helping verbs in the past as well. So just keep in mind, helping verbs, you always just conjugate it according to whatever the helping verb is. So this case, it's miru, which is a root verb. It actually does derive from the word miru, which is to look. But instead, it's always written in hiragana. So it's the same way. It's conjugated the same way. Okay, so let's take a look at examples. My teacher said that Japanese books are interesting, therefore I will try reading them. Okay. 先生は日本語の本が面白いと言っていましたから読んでみます。Okay. This is the action that you're going to try, so te form and then 見ます. Let's do the second one. The man can speak English, therefore he will try to go to a foreign country. 男の人は英語が話せるので外国へ行ってみます. Okay, so very simple, nothing too extravagant. Yes, you can make this into short form, and you can place this wherever you need to see fit. So this is a very flexible verb phrase that you can manipulate. Okay, so let's take a look. Write 3 statements expressing what you will try to do this year. I'm asking you for your New Year's resolution. Please make sure you write these down, and then when I look over the notes tomorrow, your Cornell notes, make sure you have them listed. Okay, 3 statements. So if you obviously do not have them down, that obviously tells me that you did not watch this video. So that wouldn't include you. So you should be all right. Okay. So 16. Let's move on to grammar lesson number 16. So if you give you guys a few minutes to recoup. Now 15 and 16, they are very simple and easy grammar lessons. They are both listed in your textbook. Textbook page 34 and 35. It spans to 35. And with that said, we've covered every single grammar lesson of chapter 13. So you should have a good idea of everything by now. And really think about how well you did versus this chapter versus last chapter. Because last chapter, I did teach everything physically in class, and then we did a lot of work in class. But I feel like you guys were not getting enough of the practice. So this time, we did a lot of practice in class, but we did the learning outside of class. So let's see, really think about how well you've learned this chapter versus last chapter. Okay, well, I digress. Let's move on. Grammar lesson number 16 is chapter 13, limitation statements. So this is a nara. We already did nara already. We actually had it in the bell work that we had. So nara, noun A, nara, predicate X. So predicate X applies only to A. This is when you use nara. So it's like an if and only statement. This sentence structure creates a limitation condition under what X is true. So let's assume a scenario, okay, for this example sentence. Assume that you have a conversation about all types of professionals you have met, okay, like doctors and nurses and firefighters. Okay, so that's the kind of conversation you're having. And then in that conversation, you might say something like, "Well, I have met a lawyer, but never a teacher." So in this case, your exception would be um, A. A would be Bengoshi, which is lawyer. So I've met a lawyer な会ったことがありますが but 先生に会ったことがありません but I've never met a teacher. That's a lie, obviously. It's probably the other way around, but this is an example sentence, so it's okay. Okay, let's take a look at examples. Try to solve these examples as you go along with them. Okay, I can do karate, but not sumo. So what is what would go as noun A? Okay, and then what would be the predicate X? Okay, so take a moment, see if you can write this. So this is going to look very similar to the previous example one that I had. Okay, so I can do karate. So karate, yes, would be the noun A. So karate, 私は空手ならできますが、相撲はできないんです。Now I use the excuse, the passive aggressive excuse sentence structure for this case because it sounds like almost like an excuse. Like I can do karate, but I can't do sumo. I'm sorry. So that's when I use this one. Now, let's say the previous question is asking, can you read in Spanish? And then this is your response. No, but I can read in Japanese. Okay, so how would you write this one? Take a moment, try to see if you can do this. Pause the clip if you need to. Okay, so it would be いいえ、でも日本語なら読めます. But if it's Japanese, I can read. Okay, so let's take a look. So for let's take a look, I want you guys to answer the following questions in Japanese using the limitations statement. So, did you get 100 points on the English test? Okay, so maybe you didn't get 100 points on the English test, but on another test you got 100 points. You can make up these answers, that's fine. Okay, so you are writing these in Japanese though. Did you try the tea? Well, maybe you didn't try the tea, but then you tried this. Okay. Can you read all the kanji? And then you can say, well, maybe you can't read all the kanji, but you can read, and then make sure you try to use a quantity. So for words, you can use hitotsu, futatsu, you can use tsu, okay? That's one of the ones that we learned already, so when you're counting small items, okay? So this is your homework. Make sure you get it done, and that is it. Make sure you have your downloads done, and then when you are done, please make sure you click on the homework assignment so I know you did take a look at the video. I do check notes the next day as well, so please go by please make sure you do have the notes prepared and ready. And we have a textbook assignment tomorrow as well. If you want to get a head start, though, you can take a peek at it. We're going to be doing textbook page 43, exercise Roman numeral 4B and 5A. So those are the ones that we're going to be doing. So, okay. Well, thank you and have a nice evening.